Hey there, witches. I wanted to stop by and make a quick video. I was talking about this in the Facebook group, so I thought that I would make a video because I promised that I would. It took me a few days, and I wanted to discuss manifestation. Um, the way that I talked about it was someone had said something like, has anyone successfully ever manifested their soulmate? Now, I said, I've done it twice because that's true. But I also said I have a super secret kind of manifestation ritual or method to use that I would share with everybody. And it always works. But the thing about it is, okay, you have to actually be ready for it. And sometimes I say things like this, and I think people think that I'm trying to like vet them or see like where they're really at or whatever, and I'm not. I'm being sincere. You have to actually be ready for this because it does work. And so I say this to my new clients who start coaching with me, or who anybody who's starting on their spiritual path. I'm always like, only begin your self-work if you are actually ready for it, because once you start it, it does not stop. And once you realize something or learn something or figure something out about yourself, you can't unlearn that. You can't go back and undo it. So sometimes I'll have clients that are like, why did I ever start doing my self-work? Does it ever end? And I'm like, well, you let me know if it ever ends, because I've been going ahead doing my self-work since I was 19 years old, and that was quite a long time ago. And so as far as I know, it doesn't ever really end. But no more doom and gloom. I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I'm just trying to say, only do this if you're ready for it, okay? So you have to be in a place in your life, and we'll talk about this through the filter of calling in a soulmate or calling in like a life partner, because there's these words get so like intense. Everyone's so intense in the spiritual community with their words, and I'm just like, can't we just use the words that are the most inclusive as possible? And I'm going to do a whole separate conversation about that. But here's the thing, right? If we're spiritually evolved, one of the rules is harm as few people as possible. Like that's like a basic life rule, but it's also like a rule that you really kind of anchor into when you are doing spiritual work. You're like, oh, it turns out I've been highly harmed by my life and the world and like people in general. So I want to minimize my harm footprint. We talk about minimizing our carbon footprint. I want to minimize the harm footprint that I have. I want to minimize the way I'm damaging other people. And so this is why it's weird to me when there's a lot of pushback around using certain language, or really around not using certain language, not taking on certain terms as if they're your own, and not fighting to the death to be able to say something, but instead saying, oh, does this phrase offend somebody? I don't want to be offensive. So even though it doesn't offend me, found out it offended someone else, so I'm going to go ahead and not use that phrase. To me, these are really simple kinds of linear conclusions that we can draw. The thing I said was offensive. I didn't mean it to be offensive. Sorry it was offensive. Now I've learned, so I'll use different words. But that's not how that goes. That's not how that goes. The way that goes is, why can't I say the offensive thing? People shouldn't be offended. And I'm just like, you are not in the place that you think you are spiritually then, because it's not your job to tell someone if they're offended or not. It's not your job to tell someone if they should be offended or not. It's your job to go, okay, not trying to harm anybody. I want to have a conversation though. So I'm going to change my language so I can have the conversation I want to have. This is a rant. This is a side rant that has just like been building within me for a minute. So y'all are stuck kind of listening to me about it. What am I talking about? Oh, manifestation. Okay. So we only have to do this if we're ready for it. Okay. So soulmate is the question, is the term, is the phrase, is whatever that got brought up on this thread. So, fine. I don't know what a soulmate is. Everyone has their own definitions. I don't know what a soulmate is. I don't know what a twin flame is. Now, I do offer twin flame coaching because I am very clear on what a twin flame is, but I don't want to get in that debate with anybody. I do know that I believe that we have many forms of many different soulmates that come into our lives in this lifetime, and they can be platonic or romantic or paternal or familial or whatever. They can be a lot of different things. But now this person was asking this question in regards to manifesting a romantic life partner. Okay, so we'll just go with that phrase for now. In my life, 2 times, I have said, enough of this BS. I'm going to go ahead and manifest myself, my person, like the person who I'm meant to have for the next stage of my life, right? The first time I did it was when I was around 22, maybe 23 years old, and I was like, all right, time to get like life started. I spent the last couple years like doing my own thing, like living my best life, and I want to like get married and have children. And for me, a lot of that was like, no, I'm not trying to be gay, so I'm gonna go have like the happy, perfect little life and get like the perfect wedding and like all that stuff. And so I manifested. I said, bring me my husband. I was very specific with my language, actually, now that I think about it, which is interesting. I said, bring me my husband. I want the person who is supposed to be my husband. I want the person who I'm supposed to have children with. I'm like ready for it. And I called him forth. I was at this party before I had met him. And my guides, clear as day in my head, said, your future husband is at this party. And I was like, oh my God, like he's here. Like, what am I wearing? Like, do I look okay? Like, whatever. I turn around. And there was this guy standing behind me who I have met before and did not like this dude. And I went to my guides, is it him though, right? And then I get crickets. I don't get any answers because that's what they do to me. And so I start talking to him because I'm like, guess I'll try to be pleasant. I start talking to this guy. Oh my God, I don't know. We weren't a match because he's talking at me and my ADHD, and that is a real clinical thing, not just me using cute little phrases. It's a real thing. Me and my ADHD could not pay attention to this conversation at all. And so I'm like dipping in and out, like whatever. And I said to myself, if that's him, guess I'm not getting married. And I went to the other room. In walks my ex now, my former husband, but then he was my soon-to-be husband. And the second I saw him and the second we talked, I was like, oh, there's something to this. Now, immediately I kind of forgot that I had manifested him in this way because now I'm in like this like vibe that I was in at that phase of my life about being all coy and cute and like whatever. But it turned out to be him. We did get married. We did have a family. We did do all the things. And then until we didn't. Later in my life, when I had been separated and I was, you know, looking for my actual person, because by then I had done a lot of self-work, right? I had learned a lot about who I am as a person. I had accepted my sexual orientation. I had accepted that this was not a relationship, that my marriage wasn't a relationship I wanted to be in anymore, so I did it again. I called forth, I said, where's my real person? Like, bring me my real person. And shortly thereafter, I met the woman who is now my fiance, and it's been just perfect ever since. So now anytime in my life that I am trying to manifest anything, this is what I do if I'm really wanting it, if I'm really ready for the thing. And there's like this inner knowing that you have that'll tell you whether you're ready. Okay, this inner knowing lives in your intuition center somewhere, or it's just like this subtle but very clear, like, yes, that's the thing, energy about yourself. And so here's how we do it. Okay, this is so easy that it's stupid, just so you know. This is so easy that it's stupid. It's so easy that it's stupid, and you're going to be like, but try the thing. I'm telling you, try the thing. You go outside. I'm not outside right now because I was going to make this video when I could be outside, but then I started talking to my sister on the phone, and now here we are. It's too late and too dark. You go outside. If you can, I would love for you to stand with bare feet, okay? You're going to visualize yourself grounding down to the center of the earth, okay? Connect yourself to the center of the earth. Feel the earth anchor you down. And then you're going to connect up to the center of the universe. Feel yourself connected. In this way, you are a channel, right? You're completely connected both to the earth and to the heavens. After you do that, you're going to dip into gratitude. You're going to be like, oh my God, I really actually am so thankful that I'm alive, that I'm here, that I exist, that I've had the experiences that I have had, that I have the people in my life that I have that are positive. I'm thankful for the air that I breathe, the food that I eat, the liquids that I drink, whatever. You're grateful. From that state, you're going to go ahead and look to the sky or look to the universe. I love to do it if the moon's out because I personally love to talk to the moon. You're going to take your hands and you're going to put them out like this. This is the universal symbol, sign, whatever, of giving and receiving, right? Because if I go like this, I'm giving you something. But if I go like this, you can give me something and I can take it. So when I stand there like this, I'm saying, hey, universe, May I share my request with you? And the universe goes, sure, go ahead and share it. And so I tell the universe, I'm ready to call forth, the love of my life. Okay? You feel what it's going to feel like. You attach to that ready energy, and you go, I know there's a person out there with this same vibe about me. Like they're looking for me, just like I'm looking for them. Because that's another thing. Think about that. You're only really ready. You only really start to get ready or start to look for that person if their energy is also aligning to a place of readiness with yours. If you're truly connected, their energy has to be getting right to get ready for your energy. So sometimes you might feel ready for your person, but who knows what they're doing in their life? They might not be ready for you yet. So things kind of wait, and that's where you just trust. But you feel that energy. You know what it's going to be like to have them. You know what you want your relationship to feel like. You feel it for a second. And you're like, bring me my person. And then you say, please and thank you. And then you close your hands. It is done. And then that's all you really do. Case closed. I'm serious. That's really it. So what you do is you go out there, you anchor yourself, you connect to the universe, you set up an energy of gratitude. Okay? You talk to the universe. You give the universe your request, and you receive the fulfillment of that request, and you leave and part in gratitude because you know that it is done. Because you know that part of manifesting is very clearly telling the universe what it is that you're asking for and then being willing to receive it, because that is an important step. A lot of times people think they are ready to receive something, but they are not actually ready to have the thing. I had a client once who was always like trying to find her man. Not that he was like missing, but like she didn't know who he was, right? And I was like, yo, through all this self-work, because she was so in self-doubt, didn't have any self-worth, couldn't really see her own magnificence, and this is why she was in coaching with me. But I said, yo, if this man came to your door in a full-out tuxedo, 2 dozen roses, knocked on the door, and said, hi, I'm here, like, here's your roses, I've been waiting to meet you, what would you say? And she said, I would look at him and go, are you crazy? And kick him right out. And I was like, exactly, because you are not necessarily actually ready to have the thing you want. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes we call forth the thing, and guess what? When we call something forth, okay, so this is me standing here calling forth a thing. This is the thing trying to get to me, right? The thing is trying to get to me because I'm calling it forth, but it's also pushing forward every bit of self-work I have to clear in order to have the thing that I want to have. So sometimes you'll start to manifest something and you're like, why is my life feeling like this? Why is everything so hard? And it's because that stuff that's showing up is what you have to get right with in order to have your thing that you want manifested. So that's part of the missing link. But seriously, go stand outside, tell the universe what you want, close your hands in thankfulness and gratitude, and let it be done. That's one of the missing steps too, is that we often don't allow our work to be done. We often rethink it, reinitiate it, redo it. We often kind of like put ourselves back into, I'm making a video. We often put ourselves back into the whole situation of it, trying to create it, trying to do whatever. But the thing is, that's not always right because, excuse you, the thing is that that's not always right because mommy's busy. Because of the fact that we are undoing the request by revisiting it all the time. We're not trusting that it's to be done. We're not trusting that it's coming. We're not trusting that it happened because we're like revisiting it because we're having trouble with trust. If we truly believed, right, that it was happening, we wouldn't necessarily struggle so much to allow it to happen. Does that make sense? Because there's an element of trusting the universe that is required when we're making requests of the universe. And when we're putting out our thing to be manifested, we have to believe that someone's listening and receiving and that they're like, sure. And one of these things, if you want some self-work to do, because I'll always give an assignment, if you want some self-work to do, this is a conversation about scarcity versus an abundance mentality. What do you believe, right? If you believe the universe is abundant, it's made of love, everything's possible, whatever, why wouldn't you be a part of that universe that is abundant? It's just a slight shift for your thought process, but it's a hard one because being in abundance means dropping fear and dropping scarcity and dropping mistrust. And that feels dangerous because we use fear and mistrust to try to keep ourselves safe, right? If we can predict all the things we're scared of, we can kind of work against them from happening and then blah, 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 blah. But what we're doing then is we're entering into that energy instead of being like, I trust that the universe is abundant. I'm going to make a request. I'm going to know it's going to be filled. And that's that. And I'm not talking about spiritually bypassing or pretending everything's fine or love and light only or any of that stuff. You're going to have a bunch of stuff come up that you have to deal with. It's not going to be nice, but that doesn't mean that it's not working, okay? What it means is this is the stuff we have to do to get the result that we want to have. So go ahead. Don't just believe me. In fact, that's a nice rule. Don't ever just believe somebody. Just go out and do it for yourself. Go outside, manifest yourself, whatever it is that you're calling forth for yourself. Okay? And let it go. And then see what happens. And let me know how it goes. I'll see you in comments. Thank you for watching.